All right, let's get to the game a little bit more. And let's start with Dillon Gabriel. Game of his life. He was money. He used his legs. He had the deep ball, intermediate throw. He protected the football. Look, he made a bad read in the red zone. Can we forgive him for that? I certainly can, because anytime against Ohio State, that coming into this year, I know they didn't face great competition, but this is still what a great defense looks like. Talent, Ohio State's got NFL guys all over the field. That was a great game for the Oregon wide receivers, by the way. I thought they went toe-to-toe with Ohio State's receiving core in this game. And Dillon Gabriel just ever so slightly outplayed Will Howard, and it was because of one situational moment. And guess what? That's what these games come down to. You play that game 10 times, Oregon probably wins 5, Ohio State wins 5. That's where these teams feel like they are at. But Gabriel, 23 of 34, 341, 2 touchdowns. He runs for, I was looking at receiving, wondering why I wasn't there, 32 yards and a touchdown, including the last one that Oregon scored in the game on a beautiful read in the read option. He was really good situationally aside from the red zone. He had the deep ball. He had the intermediate throw. That was the game that Dillon Gabriel came to Oregon to play. And that was the game that all of us looked at his addition and said, you know, the best thing about bringing him in is he's incredibly experienced and he's going to be ready for the big moment. Was he ever? I tweeted out after Ohio State kicked a go-ahead field goal. Shout out Atticus Sappington. Misses early, comes back, game winner. Chef's kiss. That was a great thing to see. Talk about the kicking game more on Monday's show. I'm not getting into that right now. But Dillon Gabriel on the field, 5-6 minutes to go, down by 2, got to get the team down the field, and he marches them straight down. And Evan Stewart draws a pass interference. Thank goodness the refs didn't miss that. And I am so happy for that guy. So happy for that guy. This is what he showed in Red River a year ago. He leaves and Oklahoma loses 34-3. He didn't play in 2022. They lost 49-0. He plays in 2023 and they win the football game in a barn burner. Guy is just a gamer. Guy is an absolute gamer. Came into this game top 5, 10-ish in the Heisman odds. Those are going to go up after that performance. That is the best game I've ever seen him play. I've watched him play for several years. Never seen him better than that. He was big when Oregon needed him to be. And it was a beautiful, beautiful sight to see. Couple other notes in the game. Oregon down 6, 4th and goal. I'm taking the field goal. I have got texts to prove that I wanted to take the field goal. It was a chip shot. I trust Sappington from there, as he showed later in the game. It almost cost a one Daniel landing again. Here it did not. It all worked out. It's okay. In the future, please take the points. You're down 6. You keep it within striking distance if you give up a field goal the other way going down the field. I understand the aggressive mentality. How many times does Oregon have to fail on 4th and goal from inside the 5 for Lanning to say, you know what, why don't we just kick the field goal? Why don't we just kick the field goal? So I did not like that decision. Did not like it. I didn't like Trayshawn Holden's decision. Nothing to argue about there. Clear as day. Spit in the guy's face. That's not cool. That's not cool, and he's got to keep his composure in a big spot. How about Justice Lowe stepping up in his absence? Big time stuff. Big time stuff for a guy who's waited his turn. I would have given my life savings to have been inside that locker room after that game, to have just been on the field, quite frankly. That was worthy of a field rush, and you could see it in Dan Lanning's postgame interview. That meant everything to him. And Oregon's a 6-0 football team. But back to decisions in the game and different key moments. The defense, boy, had me mentally on my heels on that final drive. Sappington hits the field goal. I did not object to the third and goal play call. People like play calls when they work. And look, the 4th and goal play call that where I wanted Oregon to kick the field goal, yep, Tez Johnson's wide open. Gabriel makes a bad read. Bo made him last year as well. But it turns out that even if you call the right play, doesn't mean it's going to be executed correctly. But Tez has nobody around him. And Gabriel missed him, but he came back because that guy is tough as nails. But the defense came up with a stop when they needed it. And 100%, I don't want to hear a word. I don't want one single. If you are an Ohio State fan and you have dropped a comment below complaining about the offensive pass interference, that comment is immediately, you're done. You're done. Off the channel. Nope, don't want to hear it. Don't want to hear it. Maybe I'll be able to hear it on Monday. Don't want to hear it tonight. I don't want to hear a single Ohio State comment about officiating and how could you call offensive pass interference. I don't know. He clocked him in the face. He runs to the top of the route. He pushes off and he whacks him and he creates 6 yards of separation. Gee, it looked like offensive pass interference because it was. That was 100% the correct call. And then 12 men on the field. All right, a little sloppy there. But Jabbar Muhammad, when they had 12 on the field, clean swat. And, you know, I obviously cover the Ducks on this show all year round. And there's something for me, and I'm sure my everydayers out there feel this as well, that is intensely gratifying to see guys who you look at on paper and talk about all year 7 ways from Sunday, like Jabbar Muhammad, and say, yeah, he's got to be Oregon's #1 quarter. Yeah, he's got to do this. He can make these sorts of plays. But until you actually see him do it, it's all just theoretical. And then he goes out in that moment. Yep, there were 12 men on the field. It was a 1v1. Howard threw a deep shot. And if that pass is completed, Ohio State's going to have a look at a field goal to win the game. And then the defensive line, just enough havoc. And Will Howard, a veteran quarterback himself, he makes a mistake. It turns out that happens, even with veteran quarterbacks. Dillon Gabriel, 4th and goal, made a mistake. Will Howard, end of the game, 6 seconds, made a mistake. I don't think Ryan Day handled that clock perfectly. Guess what? Not my problem. That's for Jay Stevens of Locked On Buckeyes to talk about, who I thought was fantastic this week. And, we all know what he's feeling over there. But is there any sympathy? Nope. Oregon went out, won the football game. And, man, I knew that there was no way either team was going to run away with this. I never felt that in the game. Even though it felt like Ohio State had control for long stretches, it never felt to me like they're going to run away with it. Like Oregon wasn't going to have a counterpunch. I mean, I was thoroughly impressed. Last 2 years, I've said many times on the show, best run of wide receivers in Oregon history. That was on full display tonight. Full display. There are NFL guys in that secondary, and Gabriel and the boys cooked them. Absolutely cooked them. No other way around it. And yeah, Oregon's defensive backs, they got beat plenty in this game. But Evan Stewart, best game as a Duck. 7 for 149 and a touchdown. Tez started slow, 7 for 75 and a touchdown. Tefur can't find his way into the end zone, but that guy's making big plays all over the place. Love the play call from Will Stein on 4th and 1. And because I know fans love to hear me talk about play calling, I'll share my thoughts. To sum up Will Stein's performance in this game, who every now and then catches a little bit of criticism, he just put up 32 points on what most people in college football would say is the most talented roster in the entire country, with NFL guys at every level, with a high-level defensive coordinator. He put up 32 points, and it should have been 35. Should have been this, that, and the other thing. The missed PAT, boy, that was almost returned for 2. That was almost a disaster. Almost an absolute disaster. And one of my keys going into this game, don't have a special teams disaster. Well, they had 2. Then Lanning goes to chase points instead of just kicking the extra point. A point at the end. I mean, you can second guess a number of decisions. Here's where you can't second guess. Your excitement that Oregon won this football game. Ducks are 6-0. 6-0. Gabriel, Lanning, game of their lives.